You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS. That was the Babies. That was a track called Midnight Rendezvous. Before that was Free, Heartbreaker. Then we had Deep Purple, Fireball. We started off with Queens of the Stone Age. Go with the Flow. Why is rendezvous spelt like that with an S? It doesn't look like it sounds. Is it French or something?
Should be with a Z, shouldn't it?
I don't know.
Rendezvous with a Z, no?
It does have a Z in it.
Yeah, that's the French version.
But I don't get it. Rendezvous. It looks nothing like what it sounds.
Well, nothing French does it?
They like Jerry Lewis.
Hey, don't knock Jerry.
Hey,
don't
hey,
knock Jerry.
Hey. I know.
My man.
But how you doing?
All right. You recover from last night?
I went out, saw another band after you.
Oh, man, you are.
I didn't get to bed till 2 o'clock.
I'm proud of you, man.
I'm emotionally drunk.
And how were they? Who were they? How were they?
Sparks. You know the Sparks?
Yeah.
Never heard of Sparks?
They're from...
They were around in early 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Two brothers. One would sit at a piano and look like Adolf Hitler.
Yes, I do remember that.
They're still going, man.
Wow.
They were good. They were good. You were good last night.
Well, thank you.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a bit unusual. But good to be back at the Roxy, which I hadn't been there for quite a while, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. They reminded me I had done it twice with Bruce, but I never did it with my own Disciples of Soul for some reason. Once we came, I think we did the Palladium or something back then. I don't know why we skipped the Roxy, but it's a cool room. It's great.
Yeah. Did it sound good on stage?
Yeah.
You have a big band.
Yeah, I was just happy we fit on stage.
Man, that's a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, 15. You know, but you're gonna reproduce the record, and you gotta do it right, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just hearing things bigger now.
Yeah.
You know,
So this is the first album in
20 years.
20 years.
Mm.
Do you like recording?
You know, it's really like a vacation for me now. I mean, it's really just nothing but fun. You know? I don't do it very often. You know, really. So I'll produce something maybe once a year. You know, maybe two records a year, and it's just fun. You know, I've really, kind of gotten good at it. You know.
You enjoy doing like solo, where you're singing and stuff.
Well,
though?
I haven't done it in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun after all this time to redo it. You know, do. I mean, for this record, I just wasn't ready to write a whole new album, so I just did. I covered me, you know, basically songs I've written for other people.
Yeah.
And it was fun because you write differently for other people than you do for yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You find that, you know, and so it was fun to do those songs. It's like literally doing cover songs, you know, an album of cover songs, even though I wrote, you know, most of them. So it was really a fun experience, you know. Where we go from here will be interesting because, you know, now I do have to, you know, write some things, and we'll see where it goes, you know. But I'm going to stick with it. You know, I'll tour with Bruce every other summer or whatever, and we'll do this every other summer.
Yeah.
And I'll hopefully do a new TV show in the winter. So
You're still doing that one in Sweden?
No, Norway. No, it's gone. We did 3 seasons of Lilyhammer, and no, just doing some meetings right now on new things. So we'll see.
Is that fun doing that in Norway?
Yeah, I loved it because it was completely crazy. You know, to actually star in a show that's a foreign show completely. I mean, it was done all in Norway with all Norwegian people, and you know, it was such an unusual. I never heard of somebody starring in some other country's show. You know,
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Was you speaking English?
Yeah, that was the premise. My character understood Norwegian but spoke English. You know.
Yeah.
So, but what the nice thing about that was for the American audiences, which really don't like subtitles, because the one guy was speaking English, they kind of related to the world through his eyes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and got you into that Norwegian world. And people told me the subtitles just sort of faded away, and they just, you know, they enjoyed the show, even with the subtitles. So it was really, we made a bit of history there, you know, being the first European success ever to be in America that wasn't remade. You know, everything gets remade. You know, the killing and the bridge.
Yeah. So it never got showed here?
Yeah, on Netflix. It was.
It was on. Okay,
It was
so it's a
Netflix
series.
first show. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Really? The first show?
First show before House of Cards. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you got to Norway, do they like attack you over there? You're a superstar?
They're very conservative people, so you can kind
Conservative? They're bleeding Vikings, aren't they? And they have horns in their helmets?
Well, they were they're conservative with everything except war. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, but no, they're very cool people. You know, so it's nice. There's only 5 million people in the entire country, and 1 million people watch the show every week.
They have a bizarre thing over there where they all get part of the... It's like, what is it, Shovel? It's like the whole... It's
the revenue sharing on the oil over there.
Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah, the richest country in the world, and nobody knows it.
But every citizen shares the some of the...
Yeah, but it goes into the bank, and they don't spend it.
Yeah.
So it's no fun. You think they don't have any fun? Yeah, they're not all going out and partying every night with that oil money.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So you're playing the Orpheum downtown LA on
Tomorrow.
Thursday. No,
Tomorrow.
Thursday, yeah.
Tomorrow, right?
And you're playing tonight in San Diego's at Humphreys.
Yeah. Yep. This is just another week left of the American tour. We're doing a few more shows, Texas and Florida, and then back to Europe for 6 more weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be about 60 shows this first run, which is a good
60.
number. Yeah. You know, and like I say, I'm treating it like a first album, like a first tour, and having to reconnect with an audience now for the first time in 20 years. So, you get mostly curiosity people. Some people know some of my old stuff, but mostly it's curiosity of Sopranos fans, Lilyhammer fans, or E Street fans, or Underground Garage fans, coming just to see what I do as an artist. They're just not used to me being an artist after 20 years, whole other generation.
There was a song that stuck out to me, and I swear it was your single when Checkered Past opened up for you in like 83 for it's like Stones riff. Is that an old song? Tell me it is, and I'm not losing my mind.
Which one?
Near the End. Was it a single like was that an old one from back in the day?
Near the End, Ride the Night Away, or
It wasn't that one.
or Bitter Fruit, or
Oh man,
I don't remember.
I've
now.
just put my foot in it, and
Yeah, I don't remember what we did at the end.
the other guitar player starts it with a very Keith Richardy type of riff.
Ride the Night Away, I think it is.
Is that the one?
That riff.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that one.
What else did he start last night? It was a short, it was only a 45-minute set, so he just kind of picked things from the normal show. I don't remember now, but I don't know if I ever had a single, really. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Well, let's play a song off your new record.
Yeah.
This track's called, what's this one called?
Title track, Soulfire.
Soulfire, sorry. I didn't get to bed till 2 o'clock. I'm normally in bed by 10. I'm dying.
I know that feeling.
You're here with Little Steven, and you're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox KLOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Good one.
That's Rolling Stones, Beast of Burden. Before that was Little Steven, Soulfire, from his new album that he's just had. First one in 20 years. Title track from Soulfire. He's playing San Diego tonight at Humphreys and tomorrow at the Orpheum, downtown LA. How long's your set for?
About 2 hours and 15, something like that.
Yeah.
And
you, as you were saying, you go through like phases.
Different, yeah. We're kind of at this point. We're kind of the history of American rock. During the show, we do everything from doo-wop and blues, where it all started, to rock and soul and reggae and salsa and a bit of hard rock, a bit of folk rock. It's a lot of different subgenres of music that just have accumulated through the years. And makes it a bit more difficult to find a band that can handle all that.
Yeah.
So we got the best musicians in New York. Really, this is quite an amazing band, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very musical show. You know, I mean, it's for the first time. You know, when I first started in the '80s, it was all about politics for me. All the records were very political, and the music really came second. So this is the first album I've ever done where the music really came first, and featured, you know, sort of me as a songwriter and singer and guitar player and arranger and producer, rather than the issues that I needed to talk about, which, you know, back in the '80s.
It was the apartheid song, right?
Yeah, we were doing South Africa, and there's a lot of problems in all through Latin America, which our government was just doing all the wrong things, you know, and people thought Ronald Reagan was God, you know, and I didn't, you know, and you know, I wanted to.
Did you get a lot of flack for that?
Yeah, but at the same time, I felt it was necessary, and I really felt an obligation to shine some light on some things that were kind of hidden, you know, all of the things we're doing around the world, you know, supporting a lot of dictators and bad people, and nobody knew about it, you know, because nobody was really political back then. So I felt like, you know, that was my role. You know, I'll be the political guy and point out these things and talk about them, and I did that all through the '80s and all through really all 5 of my solo albums. And now, you know, the political atmosphere is just so completely different. I mean, it just seems you don't have to explain anything with Donald Trump. I mean, he explains himself every single day, you know, better than I ever could, you know. I mean, so to be political now seems redundant, you know. Like, I think people need an escape from it at this point, you know. It's just 24/7. So, you know, instead we're giving them 2 hours and 15 minutes, whatever it is, of an escape from the politics at this point, you know.
You're over it.
You know, yeah, in the old days, I'd bring the politics with me. Now I'm bringing, like, sanctuary, okay? You know, for 2 hours, I'm going to give you a lot of music, man. I'm going to take you through the whole history of American music. And you know, with a 15-piece band, you can really cover, you know, quite a bit, you know. And so it's been very enjoyable. I think the audiences have been reacting, you know, so wonderfully to welcoming me back, which is nice, you know. And you know, but there's not a whole lot of familiarity with my work, so I realize that. So I'm treating it like a first album and a first tour, and you got to win people over every song by song by song, you know.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which, you know, which we're doing, you know.
What would you say your favourite era was for music throughout?
Oh, well, no doubt about it. It was the '60s for me, you know. I mean, that's what it was all about. I call it the Renaissance, and I think it was a Renaissance period with just the greatest music ever made. And everything still resonates from those days, you know, even to this day. It's just a bit diluted now. As decade after decade, it got more and more diluted. Still great things in the '70s, like, you know, like your album, one of the great debut albums of all time. And, you know, but mostly it was the '60s for me.
So it was like artists like who in the '60s, like, what's his name? He's in jail now, the producer.
Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Well, he was early '60s. You know, that was the more the pioneer days, which I certainly love that stuff, the Brill Building, the girl groups, and all that stuff. Yeah, but British Invasion mostly for me. You know, it was the Beatles and Stones and the Yardbirds and Kinks and the Who and Animals and the Hollies and all that. You know, the bands is what attracted me to want to do it. Solo artists didn't make me want to do it. You know, I had no interest in
You like the idea of a team,
yeah,
a gang, whatever.
Yeah, the gang, the
camaraderie,
the friendship, the camaraderie. Exactly, that's what appealed to me. You know what I mean? You know, and that we didn't really have that before the British invasion.
Right.
Not really. You
Groups,
know, so
yeah.
So that's what got me in, and then of course the soul music at the time. You know, you put on a rock and roll show. And we were so fortunate. We had like 8 rock and roll TV shows on every week, which is hard to imagine. But there was, you know, Hullabaloo and Shindig and Upbeat and Shivaree and Ready, Steady, Go in England. And you know, the thing about those shows were, you know, the Rolling Stones would come on, and then Marvin Gaye, you know, and the Kinks, and then the Temptations, you know. And you know,
Otis Redding,
you know, yeah,
Jimi Hendrix,
right,
at the same time.
Every other act, you know, you'd have rock and soul. So we kind of grew up with that, feeling, you know, very much a no problem with this sort of integration of the races. We didn't have that problem, which I think was very healthy for our generation. And I just absorbed both things, which is
Sure.
what you're hearing now in this album. I mean, it was just the greatest time to for input. You just got one great thing after the other during that period of the '60s for me, and I've never needed any input since. But certainly, there's been some great stuff since. But
If you had to pick between the Stones and the Beatles,
I've always explained this way. The Beatles sort of introduced us to this new world, which was remarkable. It was just literally like a spaceship landing in Central Park. I mean,
was you too young for all that with Shea Stadium stuff?
no, I saw them there.
You was there?
Yeah. I was 13 when they came, but we only were introduced to the Beatles halfway through their career, which people don't realize.
Yeah.
They were together since '58, and they've gone in
Ger-
'69.
Germany and all that.
Yeah. So by the time we discovered them, so to speak, they were very, very sophisticated. I mean, the harmony was perfect, the hair was perfect, the suits. So while introducing a new world to us, it wasn't like, oh, I can do that. Fortunately, 4 months later, the Rolling Stones came.
Yeah, I could do that.
They didn't have the harmony. The hair was all whatever, and different clothes, and most importantly, I think one of the most important moments in my life was seeing Mick Jagger, and he was the first person in show business that I had ever seen who didn't smile.
Right. Not all show busy.
There was no showbiz about it.
Yeah.
And that changed my life because suddenly it was a lifestyle. It was no longer showbiz, which I never really could relate to the
Yeah.
showbiz thing exactly, But him not smiling, just that simple thing of not
Yeah.
smiling while he sang, I never seen anybody do that.
I bet he smiles when he goes to the bank. He actually copied a lot of early stuff. James Brown moves. He was
Oh yeah,
totally just nicking it off him.
yeah. I think Tina Turner too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was true. James Brown and Jackie Wilson and those great performers. Yeah.
We're here with Little Steven. We're going to play. What song should we play? Little Steven again or Mink DeVille?
Ride the night away.
Ride the Night Away. Jonah. You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox with my guest, Little Steven. Steven Van Zandt. What do you like being called?
Anything
Either
you
or.
want. Whatever. Call me Melvin.
Okay. That was Iggy Pop, Cry for Love. Then we had Mink DeVille, Spanish Stroll, Little Steven, Ride the Night Away.
Yeah.
Old school. That's good. So, tonight, Humphreys in San Diego, and tomorrow night at the Orpheum Theatre, downtown LA. So last night you only played for you did a short thing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
45 minutes, which was enjoyable, very enjoyable. Probably the best show I've ever seen.
Wow. You've seen a few shows.
I have.
What a compliment. Thank you. And let me just say, and to return the compliment, your reunion with the Sex Pistols was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Where did you see us? In Jones? No, Roseland?
Yes.
Roseland, yeah.
Yeah.
We did a couple of nights there, yeah.
You may remember me coming backstage and begging you to stay together, and you were like, "Forget it. Take a good look because you're never going to see this
Yeah.
again." I'll tell you, but for those of us who never, very few people actually saw the first Pistols tour.
Yeah.
And to wait for something for what was it, 20 years?
20 years.
And then to have it not be disappointing. In fact, the contrary. I think it was probably better. Obviously it was better than the original.
It's like what you were saying. You get better,
Yeah,
regardless, and you keep getting better the older you get.
it's true. It's
And-
true.
And we played definitely knew what we were doing more 20 years later than when we originally. I mean, the album's one thing, but playing live,
Yeah.
you know, I had a silly little twin reverb. You didn't, you know, it sounded crap when you did live stuff. You didn't, you know, you're still getting used to it.
Yeah, and plus it was just such a crazy, that first tour was just insane, you know.
Over here it was, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, to see,
Pig's hooves got slung. That was a common theme down south.
I don't know how you survived that one, but anyway, to see the reunion was absolutely incredible. You know, one of the great shows ever. Really, fantastic.
Nice thick sound guitar, right? It sounded thick.
Yeah, but you know, usually it's rare that something like that is not disappointing.
Right.
You know, you build it up in your mind after 20 years, right? You know,
right.
And it absolutely was just right what you hoped for. You know?
Thank you.
You know, terrific. Yeah.
Did I mention your show last night was one of the best shows I've ever seen?
No. I think you should say that again.
Yeah,
actually.
I did. Last night was so bleeding good.
Well, you know, that's what we do, baby. That's what we do. We just keep getting better.
If you want to see this fantastic show, he's at the Orpheum tomorrow, downtown LA, and he's at Humphreys today in San Diego.
Yeah, you can bring your boat tonight if you got a yacht or
it's in the arbor, whatever it's called.
or a canoe. You can come in and
Yeah.
from the marina.
Yeah,
From what I hear, I haven't seen it yet, but you know, you can kind of bring your scuba gear. You can come in and sneak in that way.
sneak
bro.
in.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be a fantastic venue tonight, and then tomorrow back to LA for the first time in 25 years or so.
And you're 20 years since you've done an album, Soulfire.
Yeah, I like to take my time, you know. Don't want to rush into anything.
It's better late than never. Better late than never. Well, listen, mate, thanks
you,
for
man.
coming by.
Good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out with a bit of Freddie King, Going Down.
All right.
Going down to San Diego tonight with scuba wear. Take it